now listening to the greatest.
Hey, you know J. Ray got girls here going way, 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 way.
All right, part 2 with Miss Alexandrea Drake. Take your time, take your time.
I know.
We ain't
Sorry,
rushing on
guys.
here.
Work is calling. My RAs, they need some things, so got to take care of them. It's 24/7 job, so I can't help it. When they need some, I got to respond.
Exactly. I'm going to leave that last, what we just talked about, because then we'll get into it again.
Okay.
But I did want to play the video I was thinking of.
Okay.
When we were talking about like how to not, oh my God, where is it? We were talking about the how business works, because I was one of those, like, I've worked, if you've seen my resume, I worked for every 5 Fortune company you could think of. Amazon, Home Depot, Target, Walmart.
Okay.
So I'm with the people that say, I said earlier, we don't get paid enough for the work we do.
Right.
And then the work we do, they get paid millions,
Right.
billions.
Yeah.
But it's like you said, once you understand the business, and this is a guy I've referenced on this podcast before, because I really think he makes dope music. He makes woke music.
Okay.
A lot of people aren't scared to hear. Okay, let me turn that off. That's kind of scared me, I'm not gonna lie. But he makes music. I'll just play the video.
Okay.
I can't really explain it. Like he was talking about how business works.
Okay.
Couldn't imagine having to do it with a million people.
That sounds
I know
cool. So you see,
that's the second part, but
In a way where I could continue to just build and grow my craft.
Right. UPS, y'all need to raise y'all pay rate. Though.
That nigga.
Y'all definitely need to raise that.
Hey, shout out UPS. Man,
shout out
you know the
shout out
thing
to all
with
the
these,
UPS
with
workers.
these businesses that niggas don't understand until you like really running businesses is like, bro, my wage is my wage, but I pay millions of niggas that wage. You feel me? Like niggas, all the wage low is like, you never paid a million people. It's different when you got 1, 2, but as you start growing a business and it's niggas that you gotta take care of, it's like, nigga.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine having to do it with a million people.
that sounds cool. So you see the boss's bonus.
Yeah,
Like
definitely.
you see the president's bonus and feel like he could give.
and then I think that's when
That was okay.
that was the first part. Let me see
Gotcha.
if I captured the second
Imagine
part.
having to do it with a million people.
That's a good
That sounds cool. So you
perspective.
see the boss's bonus.
Yeah,
Like
definitely.
you see the president's bonus and feel like he could give $5,000 to
Yeah, he
every
could've split
employee.
that up.
Definitely.
Feel
But
it.
He could've
the
split
thing
that up,
is, he who builds the business is he who sets the rules. You feel me?
Facts,
So
facts.
it's like you can't. I'm just hard pressed to ask a nigga for something that's like. I gotta go get my own.
See,
you feel me? If you want more, you gotta go get your own.
I completely dig that. I'm not.
And then but that was
Okay. The
I
gist
never
of
I
it.
never looked at it that
From
way.
that
Like I've never had to pay a lot of people. But when I
Here
looked
comes
at
the
it,
time.
Okay, that was good. I'm sorry. There, I got a lot of screen records, y'all. But I never looked at it from that perspective of okay. And a lot of people don't like to see things from two different ways. A lot of people need to be more open-minded. But I was thinking like, okay, let's say if I did go in the film route or even radio, and I had to think like, if I had to pay everybody fairly, like would that work? You know, because there's a lot of work that has to get done. But how do I elevate my elevate my financials too, as along with trying to pay them fairly? And I've never been in a position to where I had to pay multiple people, so I guess I get it. So I don't know. They both made some very fair statements, but I think that big one was like, okay, it made me look at. And the biggest thing, like you said, and like he said, you just gotta go get your own at that point. You know, if you don't like how this business is running, you don't like how much you're getting paid. If you feel like you're more, you just gotta go get your own. But the other problem with that is a lot of people don't know what they want to do.
Right.
Some people don't know what they want to do until they're 40, 50.
Same.
So
I wish we all just had this card that said your purpose is,
Yeah.
and you just went to go do it. But I mean, some people know what it is. Some people got to find it. but then there are different types of businesses too, because you can have a small business based on like the number of employees that you have that can be considered small. But then you have like a large scale business where it's like a plethora. So you have like this kind of, hate to say it, but pyramid. CEO, CFO usually at the top somewhere, and then custodial worker maybe at the bottom. But if it weren't for the custodial worker, the actual venue would not look amazing. But then with the small company, the small business, or the small employees, they get like a certain amount of money, and it's just that, and they're not hiring nobody else unless somebody just
outright just different.
Just dip out, or they just do something just so indifferent.
And that's the fine line to your utopian look on how the way life should be. But I think there would still be enough people to carry on those we'll just call them generic jobs because they're just as important as the CEO for Amazon. You know what
Absolutely.
I mean? Like, we do need doctors, we do need lawyers, we do need techs, we do need plumbers, because that's what make the world go around. Let's just be honest.
Somebody has to do it.
Yeah, but but this notion that like nobody likes to do that. Some people literally just like installing air conditioners. Like, there are enough people to where if we pushed out the message that go do what you want to do in life, that there would just be no plumbers, no doctors, no this, no that. So I just don't like that. I don't know. I guess it could be a fear, but I just don't see it being a reality.
Because, I mean, some people are okay with, here's what you got to do. Go do it. And don't get me wrong, everybody needs to learn how to be a team player, even leaders. You can't lead until you've actually been a team player. I'm not going to say follow. I'm going to say be a team player. Because that's with anything. Like, ain't no one person playing basketball on a team. It's the whole team. Like, one person ain't carrying it. They may get more opportunities to shoot more. They've probably been practicing that little shot there. But if it's just one person back and forth, somebody gonna get tired. They gonna need more timeouts. So it's like, it takes a team. It does. But yeah, just having that knowledge and knowing what to do, that's what's needed. But for those of you who want to continue, do what you do what you love, do what makes you happy. If you got your American dream, hold on to it. But again, it just depends upon the person. It really does. Yeah.
On that note, I think the last thing we were supposed to talk about was HBCUs. Remember that?
Wait a minute. Hold on. What was that about? Hold on.
I think we talked a little about everything. Man. I'm actually shooting a music video Wednesday, and I was looking for locations. And I came across Morris Brown. I never even heard of Morris Brown. But why do you know why they closed it down? Do you know?
Probably funding. I want to say probably funding. If I'm wrong, please forgive me, but I think it was probably funding. That's usually 9 times out of 10. If HBCU does close, it has something to do with funding. 9 times out of 10.
And that's
unfortunate.
We talked about it a lot, but I want to start there because I didn't even know what Morris Brown was. But I heard it was like one of the most, I don't want to say popular, but it was more. Was it the most prestige or one of the most popular HBCUs in Atlanta or
both?
In the world? Or I don't know.
I would say probably in Atlanta. Yeah. Everybody knew what Morris Brown was, but
I never knew about it.
Unfortunately.
And I was reading the comments because I wanted to possibly shoot there or use it as a backup location and shoot there. And a lot of people were like, yeah, you can go there. The police won't even touch it. I'm like, wow. I was like, I thought it was like, man, let Piedmont close down and have funding.
Boy.
And you try to come on this property. I'm like, so the black universities don't get no respect. Not only is it shut down, but they ain't even protecting it. Just in case somebody just one day, maybe a celebrity one day just wants to reopen it or fund it or start it back up again. It's like, I don't like that. But then that goes into the conversation we had about celebrities and people funding for HBCUs. I think the most recent one was, oh my gosh, Coach Prime.
Oh, yeah, Prime Time.
Yeah, Coach Prime. He went to that. I think they were at HBCU, and he was there for a little bit, but I forgot what school it was.
Oh my goodness, what's the name of it?
Yeah, that's why I usually have my laptop out.
I think it was in Mississippi. Was it Jackson State?
Oh yeah, it was
I think
Jackson.
it was Jackson State.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Just make sure.
Yeah, we want to
Hey, we wanna
make sure
be
we
agree.
speaking facts. Hold on.
Mm-hmm. Was it Jackson State? It's not. I don't know. It said HBCU though. Let me just look up Jackson State. It might have been Jackson State University. Yep. You was right.
Jackson State. Okay.
Yeah. Are they? So yeah, they're HBCU, right?
I want to say so. I think so.
Let's just say they are, because it was an uproar. They got to be HBCU because everybody and their mama was crying when he did his 2 years. He got them their little exposure, made their program probably better, and then he just left. How do you feel like when it comes to celebrities and HBCUs?
Honestly, I have to know a little bit more about the backstory, and honestly, because I'm pretty sure. I mean, I would hope it would feel homey. I didn't go to a HBCU. It's kind of one of the things I probably wish I would have done. Maybe at least for a year, just to say I had the experience. But I would have to know the backstory about why he left. I know sometimes us people, we are not the most professional. Okay. Also, sometimes we have that what's it, crab in a bucket mentality. Oh my goodness! But if we unify, Lord have mercy, we will take over this nation. But anyway,
that's a whole deep. That's a whole.
It's another conversation.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would have to know, like, how were the administrators treating him? What was being, when it came to the program, the funding, the budget. Was he asking for more? Maybe
he probably was. He probably was definitely underpaid, but I think he was trying to just get his foot in the door in the college football. Yeah.
So, and of course, with some HBCUs, some of them are up there and they can provide whatever that number may be, and some may not be able to. But I mean, hey, he doing just like any other person would. I mean, if you got 4 or 5 mouths you got to feed, or kids that you got to take care of, grandkids or what have you, you got to do what you got to do. No disrespect to that institution, but hey, shoot, if it were me and it's like, oh, you finna, and I know how much labor I do, yeah.
But, a lot of people try pushing that narrative of like he was leaving institution that was prided on, like, I don't even know how you would put it. People were making it seem like it was his I'm blanking out, I need a nap. It was his like he had obligations there and he really didn't. But it was also because we know HBCUs aren't represented like they should be nowadays, and they aren't funded like some of the other schools.
They're not.
But I didn't see it as that. I seen him as, like you said, going probably for a better opportunity, which anybody else would have done.
Anybody would do, yeah.
He has no obligations to do that. But I didn't see it as that. I seen him as, like you said, going probably for a better opportunity, which anybody else would have done.
Anybody would do, yeah.
He has no obligations to do that. And it made me realize, because there's times where I do complain with I think celebrities should do certain stuff in certain situations within that space. And I'm like, man, why don't we always complain about what somebody else do? What we gonna do? You know what I'm saying? I ain't saying like we gotta, because they can give more, but it doesn't mean we can't give. Like, why don't we donate $100? If 10 people donated $100 a year to the HBCU they like or they used to go to, a alma mater, or some school HBCU that they feel needs to be more funded, it needs to be more represented. Why don't we? If 10 of us, that's 1,000, ain't it? 10 times 100 is 1,000.
I want to say so. Yeah, me and math, we don't get along.
Me either.
Listen.
I told y'all the last episode.
Calculated.
I failed 10 times 100. That's $1,000. That's $1,000 a year.
Yeah.
And then let that grow with each person that adds on. We can still make a difference. I've learned, like, instead of complaining about it, go out and make change. It doesn't matter who you are, what your image is, what status you're in. You can still make changes. But to complain about it and then not do anything, if you can do something, that's just,
if you can,
that's blasphemy to me. Because, I'm the same way. I feel like I wish I would have went to HBCU. Pretty much majority of my schools have been predominantly white.
Mm-hmm.
Even going back to high school and middle school and elementary school.
Right.
Nah, and elementary school was kind of mixed, but
Yeah, mine was mixed.
it was kind of a Sonic Your thing. It was like a theme school, and then I went to a school that had like magnet program, higher achievers, and they were just all prestigious schools to the point where like, yeah, you're gonna see predominantly white kids. But yeah, I think people we have to, like you said, unify, not just the celebrity
Not
black
just
people,
but
us regular
all
black
of
people.
us too.
Yeah, give what you can give, and then maybe we might see change. Maybe that might inspire somebody to give more, and the next person to give more, and then eventually we're going to get the results that we want.
Yeah.
Coming from HBCUs, so
Yeah.
I do wish I thought about it, think about it, saying you saying it, I was like, dang, I wish I would have seen like what it's like to just be around my people.
Right. Just, I don't know, like a place where you don't have to, I don't know, because I've never had to look over my shoulder or anything, but it's just seeing yourself in a plethora. It's something really, I don't know, it's something magnetizing about that. And then just the culture, or you don't have to explain certain things, like, it's just understood, you know? Granted, we all still have our own perspectives, don't get me wrong. But certain things don't have to be understood. Like, if you hear a certain song, you already know, like, it's the bus stop. We're doing a line dance. Or our hair. Like, nobody's like, ooh, ah. It's more like, it's just what it is. And then just the culture. And then just learning about our history too. Because that's a whole piece I know.
That's a loss. That's
a lot.
Yeah, that's a loss one. And you know, the crazy part is we need to unite even more now, because I forgot to even mention this, that they've been trying to regulate our black history lately. You know, I think they're going to be like, here he go again. But Ron DeSantis, I always say, like, he was one of the first people I learned that did it in Florida. I think one of his first pushes was like to get rid of like DEI, diversity. But yeah, y'all get what I'm saying about that DEI, and then he went on to do something. It was like it was like a rule at certain colleges, certain Florida colleges was a rule where, and I think high schools too. If the history had to do with no. Let me go back. Okay. He made African American Studies a elective instead of a general ed. So like a class you had to take, but he made it like an elective where you can take it or not. As if it was, to me, I just took it as if it wasn't important anymore. Then he went on to start actually regulating like certain stuff they could not discuss in certain lectures. Like if it had to do with gentrification of black people and it had some type of violence, you couldn't talk about it. Or if it had some type of violence, like the Black Panther Party going against another race, you couldn't talk about it. But we have to get to a certain point, and I wish y'all look up this clip with Morgan Freeman, and he said one of the problems with this country is, why do I address you as a white man and you address me as a black man? But before he did, he said, he also obviously made the example. He's like, what do you see in me? He said, you're a black man. What do you see as you? When we get to a point where we can say, I'm a man.
I'm a man. Or
and they go to the point where it's not black history, it's not Hispanic history, it's our history. Like, whether you want to believe it or not, it was an ugly history. Some of it was ugly, but it's our history. And the importance of history is for it to not repeat itself. So why would you
try to dismiss it or erase it? I tell you why, because unfortunately, some people fear that there may be some people that turn on them and do the same, but I promise you, it's nothing but love. I swear, we just want to be loved and be a human being, and that's it. Nobody ain't trying to comfort nobody. Nobody trying to make nobody pay for nothing. Ain't no revenge. Like, no.
And one of the comedians I listened to, I probably got it. I probably got the clip, but I don't know which one it would be. And he said black people are one of the most forgiving ethnicities or races to ever. Because think about the amount of stuff we have to go through over the last century, or you can take it further, maybe the last 600, 700 years. Not to say the Hispanics didn't go through that, or Asians didn't go through anything similar, or Jews didn't go through, but just the things we had to go through in this country alone, and the things we're still fighting for.
Especially the 60s. It hasn't even been 100 years yet since that time.
Exactly. And y'all scared of an uprising? I don't know. Like, that I mean, if the time was the time, they would have. I was watching last night. I was watching Oh my gosh, I was watching Boys in the Hood, but prior to that, I was watching.
Okay.
It was a slave movie. Oh, Free State of Jones. Have you seen that movie?
Mm-mm.
It was about. I'm not gonna go through the whole lecture, but the whole time, because every time I watch a slave movie, I'm always thinking like, why wouldn't they uprise? But during the Free State of Jones, I think that was before it was either before or after the Nate was it Nate Turner? And he did the uprise militia. But this one was the actual militia. I think this one would happen during I think it was the beginning of the Civil War, but it was in like the South.
Okay.
Most of the South was rebelling against a lot of civil rights changes. And one of the things, one of the actors during the rebellion said, because it was a white guy who saw things different too.
Okay.
But he wasn't necessarily, I don't want to say he wasn't a fan. He wasn't a fan of African Americans, but he wasn't against them either. He was neutral kind of.
Right.
But he always saw fairness where fairness should be. He was always trying to help. And so they saw him as a threat. They saw him as just as bad as black people. And then he ended up teaming up with the black people because he teamed up with runaway slaves.
Got you.
And they were in this swamp that they knew most of the town military could not. If they were to go in there, they couldn't find them, or that territory they knew best.
Right.
So they used that to their advantage until they kept growing, and they eventually turned into kind of like the Black Panther Party, but they only used violence when it was needed.
When it was necessary. Yeah.
Like if they caught the military, which they always did, they would tax people, which they kind of do us now. They would tax the poor of their crops and necessities to live out throughout the winter that they would grow throughout the summer, and they were only supposed to take 10%, but obviously they will always, it's corrupt. It's been a corrupt system since then. So it would take 40%. And so, like I said, this somewhat militia, or this, they call it Free State of Jones, but Free State or community grew. And it was one part where it was getting to the middle class, upper class people.
Okay.
And there was a part where he said, they've grown from 20 to hundreds, and most of them are made up of free slaves who frankly don't have anything to lose. And I was like, why didn't the slaves have that mentality before they were freed? Because I get it, you're afraid of death, but if you know living, there's a 50% chance you're going to die anyway, even if you abide to their rules or laws or to their unfair treatment, then what's, like, you have nothing to lose. Like, you still live to 60, but there's no guarantee whether you do what you think is supposed to do to stay safe. And that's not like me saying like they should have, like, before Lincoln freed us, we should have uproared. But I'm just saying, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know. And I can just take a moment and kudos to our ancestors that did survive and make it, because we wouldn't be here today. But I don't know. I couldn't tell you, because I have to go back a little bit further, even going back to the continent that we came from. Exactly. And the negotiations that were made.
Oh, there's negotiations?
And I'm like...
Somebody sold us? Our own people? I'm not surprised, though.
And see, it goes back to us as a people. Why do we hate ourselves so much?
Oh, that's a whole... To
the point where like if somebody wrongs you and whatnot, why do we do that?
We were taught that from...
Why do we do that?
We were taught that from our colonizers. That's crazy, because that was just the link I downloaded for an episode. Did you hear about when Michael Rubin talked about how much hate it is in the black culture? And he got backlash for it. And a lot of celebrities was like, why is a white man speaking on black issues? But that's just the problem. We don't want to talk about it, because that is so true.
Yeah.
If you go on anything social media wise, it's always us against us.
Right.
Everything. And his example, I think he brought that up because of the thing between Drake and Kendrick.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons is one of the biggest rap beefs of all time. Is bigger than Tupac and Biggie. It was bigger than Ice Cube and whoever he was beefing with. Was because there was allegations that could have detrimented both of each other's careers.
Exactly.
But it was through hate.
Yeah.
And music is something that's supposed to be either through love or loss, but it's supposed to be story. It's supposed to bring people together.
Right.
They were just trying to end each other's careers, and it was brought through hate.
Yeah.
But that's been going on for years. Like, if you listen to most of the African American or urban radio stations, when they talk about some of these celebrity stories, it's always us against us. For what reason? Especially celebrities, I don't get it, because y'all have money, y'all are rich. We all it's enough to go around. Like, what are we
just
always,
because you get the money doesn't mean the mentality goes away.
And I never got that about us either. Like and it's crazy because I said that on one of my other podcasts, or on it was on a Project Babies podcast for Capstone, and I was like, the person I was interviewing, he was bringing up the fact that, we should have never integrated. He said, as a black man, we should have never integrated. And at first I was like, is he just still racist? Like, we didn't. But when he broke it down, the way he broke it down was, honestly, it's true, because some of the character, some of the character we lost within us, like the reason, like, we can't just be forgiving and hate on each other at the same time. Those two can't coexist. One of those were taught.
Right.
And I think that hatred part was taught.
Yeah.
And when we started to get our rights, when we started to make our way into in the country, who was the person we had to go for a handout to?
Right.
The white people, until we were able to become some of the Tyler Perry, some of the Beyonce, some of the Jay-Z's. But we had to shake hands, and we had to kiss. Exactly, we had to kiss feet. And that brought me to the realization, like, wow. And it's crazy because the only time we unify is when when somebody dies.
Right.
Even within a small thinking space of that, like, if like, let's say the people you went to high school or college with, or the people I'm doing a documentary on, it was 4 of them. They were friends back then, but I asked them all the same questions in different interviews, different days, different times, and all of them said, "Yeah, we only see each other in passing, only when at a funeral." But that's how we are as a collective
people,
group.
Yeah.
When the Black Lives Matter movement happened, is because black people are dying. We riot, not riot, but we march and protest for a couple of weeks, and then it's just over with.
Yeah. It's some underlying trauma there within our community. I don't know. I don't know what that's about. I really don't. Especially for a group of people who, the history that was before we got here, that was lost too, for some of us or some groups of people. But then you got like Haiti. Free country. Free. And man, I'm like, wait, what? But they know their history though.
What do you mean by free country?
Like, they were the country that actually fought back and did not allow the colonizers to take over.
Is that the French Revolution? Look at me, I know a little something.
So like so there was some fighting that actually did take place, but it's I was like, wow. And I'm like, why didn't we? And it's like,
well, we did. But we still had to kiss feet to do it. The Civil War, I think that's what the Civil War was about. That's when. Because I don't think slaves were free yet, but
they didn't know.
And I even learned that's why Lincoln freed the slave. He didn't just free the slaves. Everything that white people have done for us has always been for a reason. Right. If we think we won, it was really a win for them. Like, we're still under them. I didn't realize that. I'll play the clip next time, but it really woke me that Lincoln freed the slaves, not just because he felt bad for black people, but because the South wouldn't get in line with the North.
Exactly.
And he knew the only way to hurt them or to make them get in line was to hurt their pockets.
Right.
So if I free slaves and now you can't make all this cotton and sell this cotton, you got to start abiding by my law. So and it hit me so hard. I was like, yo, that's crazy. But sometimes some of that stuff is right in front of us too. We just don't, as black people, even, like you said, unify or try to teach each other. Or everything we try to do is in the mirror of what our colonizers taught us. And
we want to be accepted so bad by them.
So bad.
But we don't have to be. Oh my gosh. Like, we are incredible people. Like, if it would, I mean, come on. Let's be real. If our community were to unify, I mean, we've seen it in history where there's been plenty of times like Osa. We had our own everything. We ran everything. And what happened? So people got upset because we're needed. We can make our own things. We can create anything. We're intelligent. We're super smart. People just fear Hugh.
Yeah.
We don't. I mean, because we don't. If we didn't have artillery, it'd be a wrap. It'd be a wrap. If there was no artillery, it'd be a wrap. It'd be a wrap. Like, get the weapons out the way, get the cannons, get the bomb, like move all out the way, and let's, like how I used to be old school, fist fight. Like let's. It shouldn't have to come down to that, but like I don't know, like we could thrive, we could make, and we know that, but for some reason that's a problem because we still messing with somebody's money over here because I don't know. We look at like objects.
And
almost.
there's a reason that when you like actually tap into our history, dating back to Africa, because we're not all like peer. I saw something ignorant that I think it was Big Daddy Kane said, or there's another celebrity, someone, and he went viral stupidly for not him stupidly, but the stuff we talk about just in our culture. But anyway, it was he said, "I'm not African," this, that, and the third. But it was like, all right, I get it. You're not African, but you have of African, like obviously we're African American. That's we're of this native land now. Like we've adopted this new culture. That's why we call it a big melting pot, because we're not all just Asian. We're not all just Hispanic. You're like somewhat American in another sense. But anyway, but if we like, it's a reason why when people like visit Africa or visit or do the deep research within our origins, our history, you see why so much it's like, oh my God, I didn't know this, and we used to be together with this, and moves you.
It does.
It moves you to like become one in that moment. But again, that like I said, that for self or that that pure individualism, just to it's all about me, or not it's all about me, but it's I only care about me, myself, and I mentality, that did not come from our culture.
That was taught.
Exactly.
That was taught. Because if we ever unified and we ever really discovered and learned who we really are,
it'd be just like what you see on the nature channels or the geographic channels of how, Africans not only stick together, and it's not just tribes and rituals. Like, it's a reason they call their elders because they try to guide you and give you wisdom that you could take on to be successful in your future, which I feel like we don't do, especially now. That's one thing I'll put on celebrities that they don't do, not financially, but you could even help people out by just going to the school and just talking to them. You know what I mean?
And they used to do things like that, but like back in the day, though.
Yeah, and a lot of people, a lot of it's not for its intent, like for the positive intent. A lot of it's for your image.
Yeah.
Like if people would do, like a lot of people give Tyler Perry so much flack, and I do not understand why. Like aside from the man dressing up in a woman, the things he has done for our community, the black community, like opening up a whole that studio in Atlanta, where he's from, the place that didn't give him an opportunity at first. Like it really did. They did him dirty for. He was living out his car,
right?
And to come back here and to build a studio, and he has connection to where he can have A-list actors, but he almost only and always hires amateur black professionals, people that want to be professionals,
right?
And it's like, y'all beat up Tyler Perry, and it's no knock to Jay-Z, because I'm pretty sure Jay-Z has done some things, in the back room as well for black people, but it isn't put like Tyler Perry tried to buy BET, which why is it owned? I think it was owned by a black man before Tyler Perry, and then the black man sold it to obviously like some type of white company, and then Tyler Perry tried to buy it back, because it was black, it was ours, it's us. And he gets so much flack for it, but where do you see all these other celebrities doing that for us? Making this move.
If they do, we don't know about it.
Just Elba is going back to Nigeria, I think, to build a studio the same way. And he's also working on a program to, I think, help people budget or work their way, something like that. But he's going back to his roots, and he's helping build, like, why don't other celebrities do that? I'm not saying you have to do exactly what Tyler Perry or Idris Elba did. But I'm just saying, like, why don't we help each other? Why won't we climb down the ladder for a little bit? I get it. You made it. But why is it like, once I made it, I don't care. I don't want to. You know what I mean?
I don't know. Because I know once I make them, be like, listen, I'm here. But you are supposed to you're supposed to run around and help others too. But again, those who have ears to hear, they will hear. And those who don't, that's okay. But like, yeah, we are supposed to help, I would think. Or, I don't know. I'm not in that space to be like, well, I know exactly why. I don't know yet. Just kind of like with the whole thing with the, running a business and having to, pay out so much money that you have to your workers. Because I promise you, like, I don't know. Because we don't know about the red tape. We don't know about things behind the scenes. Because what did you have to do to get there?
Yeah. But you can see it from the subsurface. That's why I said, and I hate to do this because it's contradicting what I'm saying. I don't want to pin Jay-Z against Tyler Perry. But you see Tyler Perry works from a black space. Like everybody sees, most of the people he's ever hired was black. You'll occasionally hire white people just to, for the sake of the film or whatever. But he's always tried to hire a lot of black people. Jay-Z behind the scene, he probably hires a lot of black people, but who is he shaking hands with to become as big as he is now? You know what I'm saying? Like he's working, like alcohol, there's not a lot of, I just saw literally an interview, I think her name was Fawn Weaver, especially since she's a black woman that is running a alcohol industry.
Okay.
But she even broke it down, there's not a lot of, not just women, but black people within that industry. Because where did alcohol start?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
that moonshine.
Yeah, moonshine and stuff like that. And she even broke it down to where like people saw her like people like other people that, because anything is competitive within the food industry, but a lot of people saw her as a threat on her come up. Like she could read it. People that weren't even, not people that she was trying to work her way over, but other brands saw her as a threat just because she was black and she was a woman. So.
That knowledge, I'm telling you, that knowledge is once we get it and we know it, it's great. Like, yes, I figured it out, but it's like, wait a minute, they figured it out. They weren't supposed to do that.
And that was my point. I've totally lost it. I totally lost it. I totally had lost it. That's my point. There's some industries that Jay-Z are in and some business that he's running. It's like, okay, what did he do to get behind? He had to shake a lot of, because that's not a predominantly black business. Tyler Perry went one straight way where I can say, okay, he made his way up. He built his own studio, and now when you go turn to BT or you go on prime time or you go to or anything that Tyler Perry produces, it's predominantly black. It's all black people, black stories. Every once in a while he might hire like post production. He probably hires other races, but he mostly tries to help his black people.
Right.
Rightfully so.
Yeah.
That's an industry. That's his own little industry. Jay-Z is like he has so much over here. It's like.
And it may not be good for business. Not saying that that's a excuse, but again.
Yeah, I get you.
It's how we portray. We're not portrayed as the professional. We are. When we know what we know, you can run circles around people. Some people don't like that. Exactly. But it's the truth. But then in some instances, we're not portrayed to be these professional, knowledgeable, educated, well-rounded individuals. We're just supposed to be entertainers and entertain people.
Yeah.
Which is sad.
And we're in 2024, and that's still the stigma.
Yeah. And we're so much more than that. We just have fun at what we do. That's all it is.
We proved it. I mean, we just had one of the first female black, almost. We had one of the first, well, she actually was the first, what people don't even know. She was the first black female vice president ever.
Right,
and
correct.
she was on her way to being the first female black president ever. I don't know, if we haven't proved it to them, we should just look at it from our perspective and say we proved it to ourselves.
Yeah. I mean, and at the end of the day, as long as we are accepting of ourselves, that's all that matters. It's really all that matters. Because at the end of the day, no matter what you do, no matter what we do, I'm going to go there.
Someone's always going to have something to say. You can say it.
But remember, this country was not made for us.
Exactly.
it was made for.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm just being real, and we've always been trying to say, but hey, what about us? Hey, what about us?
Mm-hmm.
Y'all were never a factor.
Mm-hmm.
And that goes for any minority group.
Mm-hmm.
So,
On that note, I'm gonna end it right there.
yeah.
That's it. Okay. You sure this time you don't want to shout out?
Look, I'm going to say what? Residence Life?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Okay, everyone, if you will, if you don't already do so, please follow Residence Life at piedmont.edu, where you can find all types of news regarding residential living, closing information that'll be coming up soon, winter break as well. If you haven't already and you plan on staying during Thanksgiving or winter break, please fill out those forms that were sent out, I would say probably last week. So if not the week before. But yeah, please get those done so that way we can know who will be staying for the break. And thanks for your time, everyone.
All right, now for my awkward outro, man. I want to thank everybody who watched or listened, because we are on audio and video platform. But for the YouTube people, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. For the, I guess, audio listeners, audio platform listeners, you can also comment, leave me some stars, downloads. That'll help. Email me, realtalkradio at realtalkradio626@gmail.com. And then we have, Instagram, real.t.radio, TikTok, realtalkradio with 2 O's. And then I think that's it. That's why I usually have like a thing right here, because I have so much like social that I have to, it's hard to brand yourself out here nowadays. It's a lot to keep up with. But yeah, for the most part, I want to thank you for this two-parter and coming on this conversation. It's about time we took it from outside the studio to inside, because we used to sit here for hours and talk about this stuff.
Literally.
And that's one thing I think we both agree on, that it needs to be out there to the public. People need to hear this, because a lot of people ain't going to tell you that. And it's a reason they don't tell you that. So,
Facts.
So sorry to put you on the spot one more time, but I don't have another motivational quote. You got another one? Maybe your grandmama used to tell you. Something that people can take with them out to this journey. I promise you I'll have another one for the next episode.
I'm trying to think. A closed mouth don't get fed.
That's it?
I think so. So make sure you always speak up for yourself. Be confident. Say what you need to say. Because at the end of the day, only you can be the speaker for yourself. You are the master of your fate. You are the captain of your soul.
Period. I was about to say, I didn't want you to say you had to elaborate, but some people, you got to break it down for them. But I got what you were saying. All right, we out.